and welcome back to the Scrappery. Today I've got another 8.5 by 11 layout for you. This is going to be a throwback to the Lilly Kits. This is kind of what I've got left here, which isn't a lot. It's some scraps and a little bit of the sticker sheets left and some gems. And then there were these really cool plastic alphas. I think they were from Heidi Swapp that I never actually used. So I'm glad I got a chance to kind of do a throwback for you guys and use these really cool plastic alphas. I was really excited about these. Now, after the video is over, I do end up sewing through those because that glue worked a little bit, but not really, really good. So I do end up just sewing one line through that. And then I've got some of these gold alphas. These were just from a couple kits ago. And I put 2017 on there, slightly wonky, which was very much on purpose. And then I've just got a few pieces of some of the patterned papers. This was a Cocoa Vanilla Studio line called Make a Wish, I believe. And then I did grab a doily and a glassine bag from my stash. And I'm going to try to make kind of just a little paper layer kind of to go behind my photo there. That is my youngest daughter kind of hanging out in the backyard. I think before my oldest daughter's piano recital, I was goofing around with my phone and I took a few pictures on portrait mode. And there is the last few little bits of a sequin mix from my stash because I am out of sequins from that kit. And I just added a few more pink ones from my little container of sequins there. And I'm going to sew it shut with a couple of strips of sewing there on my sewing machine. And then I decide that I am going to use that to kind of hold or be the background for my Sew in Love, just so it's not kind of floating in midair. I don't like my titles to always be floating in midair. Summer is already kind of floating, so there is my last few bits of the patterned paper from Cocoa Vanilla Studio. I'm going to pop that up with some of my foam pop dots and get that kind of situated on the side there. Also kind of wonky on purpose. Nothing in this layout was supposed to be perfectly straight, and I am fine with that. Now I'm just going to use some of my Tombow Mono Aqua to keep that Sew in Love on. I think that was from Dear Lizzie's collection last summer. Matched the colors in that Cocoa Vanilla Studio kit rather well. And because I had some of that shiny gold on the bottom, I wanted to get a little bit of shiny gold on the top going a little bit. And now I'm going to play around with the bits and pieces that I have left from my kit. I'm going to get some bitty blooms out, see if those will work. I still have some of these gorgeous Citrus Bliss kind of sparkly white foam pieces. There were some words on there. Those were used up long ago. I decided that white was of the bitty blooms was too much white going on along with those kind of sparkly white hearts, so I decided to skip those guys. But I did find a arrow that had that floral paper on, and I wanted to get a little bit more of that beautiful floral going from that kit, so that is what I went with. Then I found a few vellum hearts, and then those ended up looking a little bit too dark. They were a little bit darker than the Heidi Swapp plastic words or plastic letters. So I'm just kind of goofing around now and kind of seeing what's going to work and what isn't going to work. See, I thought I could somehow get that floral there to work because I wanted to kind of have 3 spots of floral and 3 spots of those sparkly hearts. And then I run across the puffies sheet, and that's what I've got left from the puffies. And I wanted to use that very badly, but I don't like banners to just kind of stick out of nowhere. So then I saw this little framelit next to me, and I thought, oh, I could fill up the voids of that little framelit really nicely. And then I thought, oh, maybe this one, but that one had words on it, and I don't like my whole layout to be about reading embellishments. So I decided to just go with the little frames there. And then I'm going to kind of fill in that frame to have a spot to kind of hold my embellishments a little bit because I didn't know where that floral banner could go, so I decided that right on top of that frame was going to work. So then the rest of it came together rather quickly after I decided on that last cluster area there, and I do have a few random enamel dots from my stash that I had kind of left in with that kit. And then I did grab my little 3/8 of an inch AC knockout, and I punched out a couple of little sparkly butterflies because one of the kits had a 4x6 sparkly piece of paper with, it was like a glittery gold, and I've been really taking advantage of that. I've got about a 2x2 inch piece left, and I'm gonna get every inch of that used up. So there's just a little bit of Heidi shine at the end there, guys, and that is going to do it. I'm not even going to stamp the date because I know that was June at some point. So anyhow, here are some close-ups for you. I hope you're enjoying the layouts that I'm bringing for you every week. I am planning on getting back into my project life at some point, but right now I am just loving the 8.5x11 format. And I hope you guys check me out next week. I will have another video for you next Wednesday in the US. Bye-bye, ladies.